Now, Thomas Frank insists the disparity of Tottenham's European and domestic home form is nothing more than a coincidence. Spurs can extend their unbeaten home run in European competitions to 23 games when they play Slavia Prague in the Champions League this evening. Perhaps even more remarkable than Spurs' impressive home run in Europe is that it's coincided with a terrible domestic run at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Whilst they've won 18 of the last 22 in Europe, they've won just 4 of the last 22 in the Premier League, where they have the 16th worst home record this season.
A bit of coincidence sometimes. Whatever, there could be various reasons. I think for me, Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup, for me, we play home, no matter the competition. So that's why it's never as good or as bad as we always think and talk about. It's not been perfect and not as the level we want, but I think it was a very good step going forward Saturday, and I really expect and hope and have a good feeling. We know it can be very awkward and difficult against Slavia, but I have a good belief that we can come out and perform well again.
So, Jay, there were some interesting stats there on the home form, but how important was it that they beat Brentford at home at the weekend?
Yeah, it was massively important because, you know, Brentford, they're a difficult team to play against, but Tottenham really needed to go out on the front foot, play some exciting football, score some goals and keep a clean sheet. And they done that, and they done it really well. They done it in style. There could have been more goals. But I feel like in Europe, European football is different from obviously the Premier League football. There's different standards. Thomas Frank, I think he's a top manager. He's gone in there at a big club, but he's finding his feet as well. So as much as, you know, players come into new clubs and they need time to find their feet, Thomas Frank is the same. He's a very, very good manager, and I'm sure he'll get the best out of the Tottenham players.
Well, let's speak to Spurs fan Chris Cowlin. Now, Chris, I think just so far this season, out of 10, how would you rate your team?
Probably a 6.5 so far. I think that the overall picture, when you look at Spurs in the Premier League, we're 11th with 4 points from the top 4. You'd have taken that at the start of the season after 15 games, and we're currently 16th in the Champions League table, 2 points from the top 8. So when you look at the overall picture, it's quite positive. And when you look at the amount of injuries that Thomas Frank has had since he's come in at the football club, you know, in that final third, Maddison, Kulusevski, Solanke, you know, there's not many teams that would cope without 3 starting players in one area of the pitch. So it has been positive, and I think that he has brought a calmness to Spurs as well.
Chris, it's interesting you say that. So, you're giving Thomas Frank the excuses that he has injured players. Why wasn't that given to Ange after he won a trophy?
We've had a number of injuries, Jay, and over the last couple of seasons, the injury record at Tottenham has been absolutely abysmal.
That's what I know. I completely. I mean, as well, it's not just the injury in your squad; it's your injuries to your starting 11, pretty much. That's why I was a bit confused as to why Tottenham didn't have more patience for Ange, because he won a trophy as well.
Well, I think that's a whole new debate. We could sit here all day talking about whether Ange should have got the sack or not. You know, 22 league defeats, clearly not good enough, but winning that Europa League gave us, you know, us Tottenham fans, one of the best days and nights of our lives. So, you know, fair play to Ange, respect to Ange. But the injuries have been a problem. The football under Thomas Frank so far, I think that some people are willing to give him the time. Some fans have had enough and said that this football isn't good enough or entertaining. I sit somewhere in the middle right now because, you know, that Brentford game that you just spoke about, and I completely agree with all your comments there. That was such a hugely important game for us on Saturday. And I haven't been able to say this a lot this season, but it's been a really, really good week for us. That draw at Newcastle, yes, it wasn't entertaining, but we managed to get that point there, which was a really good point in my opinion. And Saturday, it was so nice as well. At half-time, the players were applauded off, and the players were also applauded off at full-time. That may sound unusual to you guys, but you know, a number of games this season, particularly in the Premier League at home. And Tom, you brought up those stats, the home stats so far this season, which haven't been good enough. But there have been a number of boos from fans. The football hasn't been great, but it's been a really, really good and positive week for us.
Bless you. So, it has been. I mean, does this home form still worry you in the Premier League, though? Because it was only the weekend before that you were losing at home again in the Premier League against Fulham.
Yeah, every game, Tom, is so important, particularly in the Premier League. And, we finished 17th last year. The home record in 2025 has been abysmal. And, you've got to have faith in this squad. You've got to have faith in this team and this manager to turn things around. And, when you're given signs, that's all I wanted to see. Coming back from the game against Fulham, it was hugely disappointing losing that game again. But I just wanted to see signs that this manager is the right man to take us forward. And we saw that on Saturday against Brentford, because the last time I was on, I said about entertaining football and about having shots on goal. Jay, you called me out saying, what do Spurs fans want? That's exactly what we wanted. We wanted that performance on Saturday. We wanted to see that attacking intent. That's what Tottenham are about. But the home record is very important.
Chris, obviously, the player that I was really excited to see at the beginning of the season was XAVI SIMONS. And he was fantastic on the weekend. He put in a real proper performance. He was taking the ball, he was carrying the ball. For the first time, he actually had options ahead of him to pass the ball to. What did you think of his performance, and how good do you think he can be for Tottenham?
Well, he's come under a lot of criticism since signing for Spurs in the summer. I've seen a number of glimpses in the opening part of this season that give me hope about that he's going to be a future star. And we certainly got that on Saturday. That assist that he laid on for Richarlison, absolutely fantastic. And his goal, he lost the ball, won it back, ran from his own half and put it in the net. Fantastic finish, and this is what we want to see more of. And I think Thomas Frank must have a little bit of credit here for the way that he has managed XAVI SIMONS' game time, because he was on the bench for the previous 4 games before the Brentford game. And sometimes players, particularly foreign players, take that little bit of time to adapt to the Premier League. And let's hope that this is the start of many goals, assists and shining moments for Tottenham.
Yeah. All right, Chris, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much.
Next.